Imagine discovering that your lineage traces back to an ancient civilization or a renowned historical figure. What if you could unlock secrets buried deep within your DNA, revealing a rich tapestry of stories from the past? Welcome to the intriguing world of genetic ancestry testing. We humans are naturally curious creatures. We've gazed at the stars, scaled the highest peaks, and dived into the deepest trenches, all in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. But there's one mystery that has always seemed just out of reach: our ancestral roots. Who were our forefathers? From where did we originate? These questions have tickled our minds for ages. Now, imagine having the power to explore this uncharted territory, to step back in time and trace the footsteps of your ancestors. This is the promise of genetic ancestry testing, a scientific tool that seeks to unveil the hidden chapters of our past. It's like having a time machine at your fingertips, only this one is powered by your DNA, not by a flux capacitor. But, as with all new frontiers, there are questions. How accurate is this testing? Can we really rely on it to tell our ancestral story? Or is it just another scientific fad, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing? These are valid concerns. After all, we're talking about our identity, our heritage, the very fabric of who we are. It's not something we can take lightly. But fear not, for we are here to explore this fascinating realm together, to separate fact from fiction, to understand the science behind the hype. So, are you ready to embark on this journey? Are you prepared to step into the past and perhaps understand what the future holds? If so, then buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the world of genetic ancestry testing. Stay tuned as we delve into the world of genetic ancestry testing and unravel its mysteries. Genetic ancestry testing, a term you might have heard, but what does it actually mean? It's a fascinating scientific tool that allows us to delve into the past and uncover the mysteries of our roots. At its core, genetic ancestry testing involves analyzing your DNA. That's your deoxyribonucleic acid, the biological blueprint that makes you, well, you. This DNA is passed down from generation to generation and carries information about our familial past. By examining specific regions or markers in your DNA, scientists can trace your lineage back to ancient times. Now, what can genetic ancestry testing reveal? Well, it can tell you about your ethnic origins and geographical roots. It can uncover stories of migration, connections to specific ethnic groups, and even find relatives you never knew you had. It's like having a personal history book written in the language of genes. But, like any tool, genetic ancestry testing has its limitations. It can't tell you everything about who you are or where you come from. It can't provide a detailed family tree going back hundreds of generations. And it's important to remember that while it can reveal where your ancestors came from, it doesn't define your identity. So, genetic ancestry testing can provide a glimpse into our past, but how exactly does it work? Ever wondered how a simple cheek swab can reveal so much about your past? It might seem like magic, but it's rooted in the intricate science of genetics. Let's peel back the layers and explore the process of genetic ancestry testing. The journey to uncover your genetic past starts with a humble swab, gently scraping the inside of your cheek to collect cells. These cells are teeming with your DNA, the blueprint of who you are, and a treasure trove of information about where you come from. Once the swab is safely sealed and sent off to the lab, the real work begins. Scientists extract the DNA from your cells, preparing it for analysis. The DNA is then amplified, making millions of copies of specific sections of your DNA that are known as genetic markers. These markers are the signposts of your genetic ancestry, each one a clue pointing to your roots. Imagine, if you will, a case study. Let's call our participant Jane. Jane sends in her swab and waits with bated breath. In the lab, scientists analyze her genetic markers, comparing them to reference populations from around the world. They find that some of Jane's markers match a population in West Africa, some resonate with a population in Southeast Asia, and a few align with a group in Northern Europe. This intricate analysis is how Jane learns she has a rich tapestry of ancestry that spans continents. But the process doesn't end there. The results are then interpreted and presented in a way that Jane can understand. She receives a report showing percentages of her ancestry from different regions, along with a wealth of information about the history and migration patterns of her ancestors. In essence, the process of genetic ancestry testing is a journey that starts with a simple swab and ends with a profound understanding of your ancestral roots. A simple cheek swab, and voila, you have a map to your past. But what does this map really tell you? It's time to delve deeper and understand how to read this map of your genetic ancestry. A map is only as good as your ability to read it. And that's particularly true when it comes to interpreting results from genetic ancestry tests. So, let's dive into this intriguing world of ancestral mapping. Firstly, there are 3 different types of tests you could have taken: paternal, maternal, or autosomal. Paternal tests, as the name suggests, trace your father's lineage. They analyze the Y chromosome, which is passed down from father to son, allowing you to track your direct paternal line. On the other hand, maternal tests focus on mitochondrial DNA, which is passed down from mother to both sons and daughters. This allows you to trace your direct maternal line. The third type, autosomal testing, analyzes the 22 pairs of chromosomes not involved in determining a person's sex. These are inherited from both parents and can provide a broader view of your ancestry, though it becomes less precise as it goes back in generations. Now, let's illustrate this with a case study. Imagine Jane, a woman curious about her ancestry. She undergoes all 3 types of tests. Her paternal test, tracing her father's lineage, shows a strong link to Scandinavia. The maternal test, tracing her mother's line, reveals roots in the Iberian Peninsula. And her autosomal test? It paints a broader picture, showing a mix of Scandinavian, Iberian, and also some unexpected Celtic ancestry. It's like piecing together a puzzle. Each test gives Jane a part of her ancestral story, but it's only when all pieces come together that she gets a fuller picture of her genetic heritage. However, it's crucial to remember that these tests provide estimates, not exact answers. They're based on comparing your DNA to that of others in a database, and the size and diversity of that database can affect the accuracy of results. Understanding your ancestral map can be fascinating, but it's also important to remember its limitations. It gives you a glimpse into the past, a story of where you come from, but it doesn't define who you are today. Your genetic ancestry is just one part of your intricate identity. Knowing your past can be enlightening, but it can also raise a plethora of questions. With genetic ancestry testing, this statement rings particularly true. This innovative technology, while providing us with a window into our past, carries with it certain implications that are worth considering. One of the key concerns in this realm is that of privacy. When you submit your DNA for testing, you're sharing something deeply personal and unique. This information, in the wrong hands, could potentially be misused, leading to breaches of privacy. Consider the case of Lucy, a woman from Toronto. After sending her DNA sample to an ancestry testing company, she was shocked to find her genetic information available on a public database, accessible to anyone with internet. This breach of her privacy left her feeling violated and exposed. Another potential implication of genetic ancestry testing lies in the realm of unexpected results. Sometimes, These tests can reveal information that disrupts our understanding of our identity and family history. For instance, imagine learning that the man you thought was your father isn't your biological parent. Such revelations can have profound psychological impacts, as was the case with John, a man from California. His genetic ancestry test revealed a sibling he had no prior knowledge of, upending his understanding of his family and his place within it. Moreover, the potential misuse of genetic data is another significant concern. Imagine a scenario where employers or insurance companies gain access to your genetic information. They could potentially use this data to make decisions about your employability or your eligibility for certain benefits based on your genetic predispositions. This potential for genetic discrimination is a real concern that needs to be addressed as genetic testing becomes increasingly commonplace. But it's not all gloom and doom. Genetic ancestry testing can also have positive implications. It can help people trace their roots, understand their cultural heritage, and even connect with distant relatives. It can provide a sense of belonging and a deeper understanding of oneself. And in some cases, it can even help solve cold cases and bring closure to families, as was the case with the Golden State Killer, who was identified through a genetic genealogy database. Genetic ancestry testing, then, is a double-edged sword. It can reveal fascinating insights into our past, but it also raises important questions about privacy and identity. As we delve deeper into the realm of genetic testing, it's essential that we tread carefully, balancing our curiosity with a respect for privacy and an understanding of the potential psychological impacts of unexpected results. As we gaze into our past, we also look towards the future. What does the future hold for genetic ancestry testing? The world of genetic ancestry testing is a fascinating realm where science and history intertwine, and it's not about to stop evolving anytime soon. The future of this field holds a plethora of exciting possibilities as we continue to push the boundaries of what we can learn about ourselves and our ancestors. Imagine a future where genetic ancestry tests become even more precise. As science advances, we may be able to pinpoint not just the regions our ancestors hailed from, but perhaps even the specific towns or villages. The improvements in accuracy could also mean identifying more detailed timeframes of when our ancestors lived in certain areas. And then there's the potential for wider databases. Currently, the effectiveness of a genetic ancestry test is largely dependent on the size of the database it's comparing your DNA to. The larger the database, the more comprehensive and accurate the results. As more people participate in these tests, the databases grow and the results become more enlightening. But the future of genetic ancestry testing isn't just about digging deeper into our past. It's also about integrating this information with other aspects of our lives. Consider the possibilities of combining genetic ancestry testing with fields like health and wellness. We already know that certain genetic markers can indicate predispositions to specific health conditions. What if we could use our genetic ancestry to provide even more personalized health and wellness advice? Imagine a world where your genetic ancestry test doesn't just tell you where your ancestors came from, but also offers tailored advice on diet, exercise, or even potential health risks based on that ancestry. This could revolutionize how we approach personal health and wellness, making it a truly personalized experience. The future of genetic ancestry testing is a gateway to a deeper understanding of ourselves, our past, and our future. As we continue to uncover the mysteries of our DNA, we're not just learning about our ancestors, we're shaping our own futures. The future of genetic ancestry testing is as exciting as the past it helps us uncover. We've journeyed through the past, pondered over the present, and speculated about the future of genetic ancestry testing. We embarked on this journey with a simple question: who are we and where do we come from? And oh, what a journey it has been. We pulled back the curtain on the marvel that is genetic ancestry testing, a science that combines genetics, anthropology, and history to create a vivid picture of our past. It's a process that uses our DNA, the very building blocks of life, to trace our genealogical roots. We've learned that our genes are the ultimate storytellers, chronicling our ancestors' journeys, their interactions, and their migrations. We delved into the intriguing process of how genetic testing works, how it reads our DNA like a book, identifying markers and matching sequences. We discovered that it's not just about finding out if we're part Viking or part Neanderthal, but it's about understanding the complex web that connects us all. We then ventured into the implications of this groundbreaking science. It's not merely a fascinating look into our past, but it also has profound implications for the present and future. It can help us understand our susceptibility to certain diseases, our response to medications, and even our behavioral traits. Peering into the future, we saw a world where genetic ancestry testing could become a routine part of our lives. It could help us understand ourselves better, break down barriers, and foster a sense of unity. After all, beneath the surface, we are all connected in this intricate web of life. As we wrap up this enlightening journey, let's remember that this is just the beginning. As we unravel the mysteries of our past with genetic ancestry testing, we come to understand not just where we come from, but also the complexities of the human story.